Hello and welcome back to another Bad Movie Reviews review hosted by your two favourite titans from down under, Ben and Daniel.
Didn't mind that one.
Oh, I'd hope so. I worked really hard for it. But we are reviewing none other than Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire. It's not Godzilla vs. Kong like the previous one, but Godzilla X Kong, The New Empire, which picks up pretty much a couple of years after Godzilla v. Kong, the first one. I can't remember what it's called off the top of my head. Came 2021, I think, or
Yep.
a couple of years ago. Directed by Adam Wingard once again, which, plot. I mean, if you're watching this review and you've seen the previous one, you probably know.
Yep.
You know, obviously a couple of years later, but I don't really know where to touch with this film. I don't know if you want to. I think I'm trying to not obviously compare it to any other Godzilla films or any other Kong films apart from what's
We did have Godzilla -1 not that long ago,
and
and that was good.
I'm trying to just really keep it to obviously the Monsterverse, but I don't know. I felt like it will probably get a lot of love by audiences.
Yep.
Because it is an enjoyable film. Like, you'd be stupid not to, like, you know, you're watching a monkey and a
giant
Godzilla or whatever, I can't
dinosaur,
remember, giant lizard dinosaur fight, and you know, like, it is enjoyable. It's probably the most popcorn flick you can get, really. Like, where you go into a film,
completely.
get popcorn. Like, this is probably the one where you're like, fuck, you know, shit, yeah. But is it a good film? No, like, not really, in my opinion. Like,
Where does it falter?
It just let's put it this way. Like, I thought the cast was like Brian Tyree Henry, who we love in Bullet Train as either Mandarin or Tangerine. I can't remember his name, but I thought Rebecca Hall, who's the main character, Eileen, was good, and I think she's a severely underrated actress. But when the most charismatic character you have on screen is a giant ape, I think
I was actually going to say that.
I think you might have done something right, but I think you've faltered in being able to write emotionally like tangible like characters, really. When it's just an odd film. Like, I think it looks good, like the actual film itself. Like, it does have good moments and CG moments.
It felt good. It had a lot of weight too in the important times.
Yeah, I was going to touch on that. I thought, like, the nice neon like color scheme, I don't mind. I think it looks nice. There are a few moments where I was like, maybe a bit too much, but it's just a weird film to watch, knowing that, like, the 2014 Godzilla's out there and it's connected. Like, the Godzilla we see in this film is the same Godzilla in that film. And just the vast difference. Obviously, that film, I think, was directed by Gareth Edwards, who did Rogue One. And there's just such an impeccable sense of scale, and it's a very dark, gritty film. And then Kong Skull Island's like similar. Like, it's a bit like it was 70s. Like, it was set in the 70s, and it had, like, you know, the color concepts come into play where, you know, they're running through the green gas. And like, I really enjoyed that film. But I think where this film let down for me was there was weight. Like, there was weight in the sound. But one thing we've chatted about, especially when it comes to like sci-fi films, and you're supposed to have these big animals, monsters, these big ships and things like that, is scale. And I think this film just had no scale whatsoever. And I think the main reason due to that is because almost 60% of it, maybe 80% of it, is set in the other, which is obviously shown in the previous film, set in the other world where it's such a big world and there's other big monsters, where it doesn't feel that, like, that sense of scale of dealing with a giant monkey and dealing with a giant lizard, dinosaur, whatever. Like, there's not that scale. And because they're fighting it, like, it's just, you know, when they're in the human world, you kind of see that with obviously the Egypt scene and like the
well, even at the start.
But it's just like, when it comes to that, you know, you think of the scale in the 2014 Godzilla, or even like Kong Skull Island. Like, you can think of that, and you think of like those certain scale moments. But I felt at times that it was there, but apart from the sound, which really displayed weight, there wasn't much behind it in that sense. And it never felt like there was really a risk in this film to me. It didn't feel like there was any character like dilemmas or kind of consequence by any means.
Yep.
And not saying I didn't enjoy it, because I did have a good time. Like, I don't think it's a great film. I would probably tell 99% of people I know to go watch it, and they'll probably have a fun time. But I think it's probably a film I'll forget in like 3 days. It's funny though that we've seen 2 films in 2 weeks that really have a massive have a massive plot discussion about snow, freezing, Ghostbusters, and then this.
Oh yeah. I didn't even think about those 2.
No, but I'm keen to know your thoughts. Like, it just really felt like there was something missing. I think it was Godzilla, King of Monsters. There was 2 Godzillas, then the Kong, but I don't know. I really don't know. Like, I actually think it might be my least favorite of the. I think it's Monsterverse. I think that's what they call it. The least favorite of these films, because I really enjoyed the 2014 Godzilla. And I know there's a lot of like complaints that like that, Godzilla had like 14 minutes of screen time. But like when you utilize that screen time appropriately and you hear the weight of the sound when he roars in that film, and you see like
Is that the one where they're following the person and they're like all underground and stuff?
Yeah, and they like the one where they like it's pitch black and they're skydiving and they've got the red flares coming out. Yeah. And you see them skydiving down, and then you see like Godzilla's body moving through. Like, it's just like this sense of like, there's a sense of threat in that film. And then when you watch this and you just see Godzilla running through, Egypt and, Rio de Janeiro, and just see all these places destroying, like, there's no casualties in like, it doesn't feel like there's, consequence or anything. It just feels like it's a substandard end of the world monster movie, really. It didn't feel like it was this classic Godzilla character or this classic King Kong character to me. And you're tying 2 of the most infamous monster
Titans.
Got King Kong's went back 100 years and Godzilla's pretty much the same, really. So it just, I don't know. I thought it was fine, but it just felt like it was really lacking something, and it's hard for me to put my mitts on it.
For me, I guess if it was to jump straight into what it was lacking, it was definitely the acting wasn't any good, but I don't think they were supported by a good plot or story. So it was really hard for anyone to do anything. And I was going to say, as part of my part, that Kong was the best acted, directed, scene, character, monster, Titan throughout the whole entire thing. It was the best written and the best acted and the best displayed, which says a lot when you're trying to, I guess.
See, I thought the acting was fine amongst like the leads.
It was cringy,
but it was very much the script, in my opinion, that let it down, because I felt like the dialogue wasn't great, and then it probably ties into the fact that there wasn't much. I mean, Rebecca Hall we saw in the previous one, who's the main character, but it didn't have, and obviously her, adopted daughter is in that film as well, but like there wasn't any development in this film of the characters really whatsoever, apart from maybe the adopted daughter, and there was really no consequences amongst all the characters either.
I felt like realistically, that was fine for me though, because I couldn't give a shit. It wasn't,
but like realistically, you're going to another world where there's literally these most dangerous animals, and they're just walking around like they don't care. Like, you should be, any person in their right mind would be absolutely fucking. They see a massive handprint full of blood on a cliffside, and they're like, oh, yeah, we should maybe get out of here, I guess. Like, there's no urgency. It just felt like there was no urgency, no consequence, no risk in the film for the characters.
Yeah.
It felt like the most risk anyone had was Kong. And
I think they were only there, in my opinion, to pull certain story parts into it so it made some cohesion.
Oh, absolutely. So they were there as ploys to drag along the plot for Godzilla and Kong.
Correct, yeah.
Which makes, I mean, at the end of the day, it is a Godzilla Kong film.
And
but like, the reality is you watch any previous film in the Monsterverse, there are actual plots with the characters that at the end of the day, the character plots and the things that's actually unfolding within the movie is what draws you in, what gets you emotionally invested. At the end of the day, if they're going to make a fighting movie, at least there was fighting for probably last 20 minutes, but like there wasn't, other than that, there wasn't really any.
Yeah, it was
just bits and bobs, like 2-minute sequences throughout a 2-hour film.
Yeah.
So, like, obviously, I guess it'd cost $500 million if you can have a 2-hour long kaiju film where they're all fighting each other for the whole time. But like, that's probably the main thing. Which I'm agreeing with you in that sense. Yeah. It's just that allowed me to better elaborate, I guess, my concept and thoughts on that. The fact that it just didn't draw me in. I was just kind of like every bit with the characters. I was just kind of hanging on to the next maybe fight sequence or
I just wanted them off the screen. I couldn't care. They brought nothing. I didn't think they brought anything in either of them. And I was more than happy for them to have minimal screen time. Their parts were cringy. They were terribly written. I don't think that's a reflection on them. That's a reflection on the writing. And
they're all great actors. I think the writing of it felt like they were writing.
They were just comic humor. That's all. Here's something to pull this plot along and add a couple of laughs here and there.
Well, I think it felt jarring to me in that sense that, like, Brian Tyree Henry's character was obviously written, and he's in the previous film as well. Dan Stevens, like, those two characters have comedic aspects, but then like Rebecca Hall's character and her adopted daughter, I can't remember their name off the top of my head, but like they've actually got like no comedy whatsoever amongst those two characters. It's actually quite like an emotional, I guess, story undeveloping there, which I don't think was great, but it's like that's probably the main 4 characters you're dealing with. 2 of them are just a complete piss take, and then they're dealing with a motherly daughter concept that like the daughter's going through struggles. It's like it's an emotional thing, and then it's just it just felt jarring.
Other than all that, this is one of the most enjoyable movies I've seen this year, and
you're maybe 6 films in,
and I'm not counting anything that I've watched that's obviously wasn't released this year.
And to be fair,
I enjoyed this than our last movie we watched, not Ghostbusters, the one prior to that, Love Lies Matter. This was way more enjoyable. The other one was a billion times better film.
Oh, no,
I would agree. You were right. This is a popcorn one. I'm sitting here, I'm munching on some popcorn. I'm drinking my drink. I'm going to go to bed happy today because I watched this film. That was good.
No, I do agree. I would agree with you. I enjoyed it more than Love Lies, but I think Love Lies Bleeding's probably my second favourite film of the year so far, but I think it's...
Yeah.
I've seen Dune 2.
It was a good film.
Dune 2, Love Lies Bleeding,
I don't think it was enjoyable at all, though. Like, I wouldn't recommend it to a single person and be like, you'll have a great time.
No, it's hard to recommend.
I could recommend this to everyone and be like, the movie sucks.
I recommended it to one person and they absolutely loved it, but I haven't recommended... Like, I don't think I would...
Was that Suze?
Yeah.
Shout out Suze.
Yeah, she'll probably watch this, so...
No, but like 100%, you're right with the popcorn thing. I'm happy.
And I said earlier,
I had a blast.
I did say earlier as well, like I'd recommend it to 99% of people.
100%.
And I would say to them, I'm like, yeah, it's a fine film, but you'll probably have a good time. And then they'll go and they're like, yeah, it was like it's not a film I don't think it's a film that really anyone could hate because you kind of know exactly what you're getting yourself into.
It's
really
just mindless.
I do think though, like as much as I love Guardians and like Deadpool, I think these films that have come out have been such a had such a demeaning effect on films after them because they try and use music as like the biggest needle drop, and it just like, I can think of Guardians as the first like majorly successful blockbuster that really utilized music in it, and then this film really tried to do that and never worked for me whatsoever.
Yeah, they didn't have enough story,
and it wasn't even good music. Like, well, yeah, they didn't have enough. Like, that's what I mean. Like,
the script would have been pretty bland. It would have been 20 minutes, watch Kong run, 10 minutes character, 20 minutes, watch Kong run.
Like, I genuinely think Kong's probably got most screen time in the film.
He was awesome.
Yeah, but no, like, I mean, it sounds like I've probably berated the film, but that's why I did start off with, it's a good time. You'll probably have fun and like go see it. You'll probably enjoy it as a popcorn, but do I think it's good? It's like we never give ratings, but like it's a perfect middle of the park film for me. I don't think there's anything special about it whatsoever. Like even like the action's entertaining, but it's like the action in Dune is crafted so much more brilliantly and like so much more entertaining. Like it's just
beautiful film.
We should go watch that now. But no, I don't know if you've got more. It sounds like I've probably.
You filled in most of the gaps, so I think I have very similar opinions. I did feel like you berated it a little bit because it actually was like a really fun time. But
no, it was a fun time. It wasn't good. Like
not any.
Yeah,
not any.
I do think it's like the weakest of the 6 films, I think, in the series now. Because there was Kong Skull Island, there was Kong v Godzilla, then...
I think my memory's a bit rough on all of them. Yeah,
there's 2 Godzilla films, and then there's 2 Kong films, and then there's this. So I think, yeah, that'll be the 6. So
the one with Jack Black, that was pretty good.
I mean, it's Peter Jackson, 2005, not connected whatsoever. But anyway, no, if you have seen the film, which... I'm sure you might have at this stage. I think it only just came out in America today. But if you have seen the film, let us know in the comments below what you think. If you like our review, give it a thumbs up and subscribe for next time.
Thanks, guys.